Hello, it's Veronica, and I'm excited to go over week three early management theories this week. I'm going to be going over a few theorists: Gulick, Appleby, and Merton, and then we'll close it out. What I found most interesting about Gulick was and impactful was his focus on turning policy into action and his abbreviation POSD CORB to plan, organize, staff, direct, coordinate, report, and budget. I think that really simplified just everything we do as administrators. And really focusing on that final result. I think it related a lot with Herbert Simon's perspective of really getting that final product out, and reminded me of the quote, done is better than perfect. Um, and I did see that critiques on him were that his thought process was very rigid. I don't agree. I think, at a basis level, as an administrator, this is great advice to utilize and really prioritizes just that work of getting something out. Next is Appleby, and his work was Government is Different, which was an article in the Public Administration Review in 1945. A quote I pulled from that was Government is different. It is not a business and it is not the same as any other enterprise. Government is politics and it is policy. It is the regulation of conflict and distribution of values. Um, so, with his work, his message is so it can serve the public good. I myself, I'm in Parks and Rec, and I think this is something that we work for every day. And I put a comparison here of one of our community centers, Hunt Park, comparing it to a business like 24 Fitness. We both have a lot of the same amenities, workout centers, our values are health and wellness, but we do it in completely different ways because, 24 Fitness is about, it's a private gym and they're about making money for their shareholders. And, they have a lot of flexibility with how they sell their memberships and, serving the demographic that they want to serve. And for us as Parks and Rec, we serve the public good, regardless of that individual or if they can pay, we give them resources. And bottom line, our success is people participating and providing those resources. Um, and I think what is really invaluable to take out of that is, they aren't the same. And so we can't respond in the same way. And it often slow things down, which I think leads me into my next theorist, which is Merton and his work of bureaucratic structures and personalities, written in 1940. And he addresses the negatives of bureaucracy and the failures that come out of it because of the methodical ways and disciplined ways. And I think this is true, that this can happen in government. I've worked for nonprofits, I've worked for private sector, public sector, and you have a lot more flexibility, in private. And I really thought that Barnard's function of the executive could be applied here, in the way of incorporating informal organizations, like grassroots and nonprofits, like utilizing their flexibility and piggybacking off of their work to implement something in a quicker way in government versus, the government having to create something and change policy. There's already something that's already there with those nonprofits, and piggybacking off of that to implement their structure, with a lot of more flexibility and not as much commitment. And I think Philip Zelnick's exemplified this with the Tennessee Valley Authority, working with those leaders and incorporating their values to onboard the community and drive change. And in the real world, I brought up an example of Parks and Rec. We had a groundbreaking recently at Patterson Park, and this wouldn't have happened without the community and working with nonprofits like the Riverside Community Health Foundation and the Real Group. And the Real Group, this park had been historically gang related and affiliated, and it couldn't be enjoyed by the community because of that. It wasn't a safe area, and the Real Group, which is predominantly people of color, women of color, going out there, knocking on doors, grabbing data, getting analytics from the community, and documenting that, and building this real story, and telling the story of that community, and eventually working with community leaders like Sabrina Cervantes, and taking that to the legislation so that we could get funding for this. So it was a long battle, but they were awarded $7.1 million to renovate this park, and we broke ground on it this year. So I think that's a really great example of incorporating um, nonprofits to get the work done. So overall, I really enjoyed this week. Uh, Learning about the connection between administrating, getting it done, pushing it out and also addressing and acknowledging the politics of it all, and how to overcome those wicked dilemmas that do hold us back. Um, but, ultimately feeling the power of community values and seeing how working with grassroots and nonprofits can be so beneficial. I look forward to your comments, and I thank you for your time.